Okay, people, the big question, can people hear me? Hello, everyone. So, can you hear me at all? It would suck if it doesn't work. Hello, Pyroser, can you hear me? Can you just confirm that? So let's start off by starting a print. That would be the easiest way. Good. Audio is working. Now my camera stopped working. That's fun. Let's see if we can get that thing back on. There's the camera. Okay. Hello, everyone. There's just two of you, but that's okay. Let's hope some more people come in. So what I wanted to do is that I wanted to get the Rook printing something, and then just in general ask answer questions or show people stuff if they want to see something specifically about the Rook. I should be set up to show you both cameras and my screen if I need to show you something on the computer. Let's turn on a little bit more light. That's better. So let's start off with something easy, shall we? Yes. Um, this is a 750 spool, and they are um, as big as the printer itself. Most spools are 20 centimeters in diameter, and the actual bottom and top of the Rook is exactly that size. So yes, it's the same size as a roll of filament. So what I'm printing right now is this little tokens that I'm gonna give away at an event, upcoming event this Easter. So I tried to make it as quick as possible to print them, so I can print them at the event. Um, so I'm close to the limits of what the Rook can do right now. My end goal is to have this about twice as fast, realistically. And there we go. Super quick little print. I've started using it as a like test to check if my printer is working before I start something bigger. Something like this vase that I did today. It's a 0.8 layer width 0.2 layer height, printed at about 150 millimeters a second because of the 0.8 layer width on a zero point 0.4 nozzle. Does need a little bit more heft to it, but this technique gives you a really sturdy, nice looking print, especially for vase modes. This is the same technique of doing 0.8 layer widths at a 0.25 layer height this time with a Prusament. Don't remember the name of it. Mystic Brown, I think. Really good looking filament. So, any questions? That would be very helpful to get me started. I'm still new to this whole live stream thing. I did some gaming back in the day, but that's a little bit different. Hello, Rolo. Maybe I should put on something that takes a little bit longer. Yes, this is dual 4020s layer coolers. I did test the 5015s, but I'm more happy with the pressure of the 4020s. Hello, Inert. And like I said, if you have questions, just type in the chat, and I'll answer as best as I can. I think I have one of the most knowledgeable experiences with the Rook, thanks to Rollohan, um, including me in all of this. So I should be able to answer just about anything. Yes, this is the walking Rook. It used to be, at least. Turns out that when you move all your electronics from the back to the bottom, it's no longer as efficient at walking. I can make it dance though, um, but not walk anymore. I have been tempted to make a rear-mounted electronics case just for walking printers. It would be fun though. Right now I'm using a point 0.4 nozzle, a stock, um, cheap as you can get brass nozzle on a Volcano hot end. I don't see why I should go anything bigger with the Rook. If you're just doing it, using it for vase mode and big stuff, then maybe. But 0.4 is a good thing for the Rook considering the size of it. The hot end is a Volcano, an E3V Volcano block, and a regular cheap brass nozzle, a Creality CR10 heat break, and heatsink. So it's kind of a mix match between parts, but it does work. It's really, really efficient and super, super cheap. You can get these parts for next to nothing compared to some of the more fancy hot ends. I do plan on going to a fancy hot end, but I want to find the limits of the cheap stuff first. yes, the full CR10 style volcano hot ends on AliExpress can work. Um, they're just slightly more expensive. The rookery that I'm using right now is designed specifically for that hot end. Goldsfer had one of those hot ends when he designed this, so any volcano style block you can put on a CR10 heatsink works perfectly fine. Uh, yes, Rollo. The X braces on the side, they really work. Um, there's a big difference in straight lines, um, especially when I'm printing bigger stuff, vases and stuff, um, and really fast. When I go super fast, it removes any shifting at all. And also they do help with making the printer more of a unit that I can move around instead of just two pieces of plastic with some rods in between. So it does help on looks as well. So my build surface, good point. I actually brought my old build surface. So what I'm using is a piece of glass um, like this. This is specifically a 2 mm thick 121 by 120 piece of glass that I got from a shop that does custom picture frames, and he cut this for me for free, and it's been working for a while now. It's perfectly fine. The blue stuff on top is a print surface from, I believe MakerBot uses this, and a couple of other manufacturers. This is the AliExpress version of it, but it sticks really good without any heat. With a brim and some glue stick, it's been working perfectly fine. And I've printed some considerably big stuff. I've coated the entire plates with prints, and as you can see, they're perfectly fine. Oh yeah, the X-Rail backer. Yeah. Um, I'm not sure if it really helps. Um, I think in general, the fact that there's more clearance for the belts gives me a better advantage, uh, because on a stock hot end, when you're going really fast, the belt starts to oscillate and hits stuff. Um, so by having the modified X gives you less sounds and less scraping of the belts. Yes, perfect way to get a piece of glass then is just a piece of unheated glass with some hairspray works perfectly fine. I know Rollo likes the blue tape method, which I did in the beginning before I realized I had some of this stuff laying around. It's a much bigger piece that I actually cut up, so you can get this for next to nothing on AliExpress, and it's a really good alternative. It also protects your glass from breaking. The nozzle could hit this and break it, but this kind of gives it a little bit of a cushion and stops it from breaking the glass. Mirrors work really well, yes. They're usually very flat, which um, some furniture glass are not always super flat. They have a little bit of bow in them, and mirrors are made to be super flat unless they would be horrible to look at. So so this setup is a mix of parts I had laying around and some parts that I bought, and then I've spent way more than I should on just testing stuff. So I've tested at least 4 or 5 different hot end setups, and I've gone through a couple of motors just to see what works best, and I think around 200 to 250 is a reasonable setup cost. That would not include the Pi and the phone that I'm using as a screen. That's kind of a luxury item, but you use what you have and then you get what you need. Thank you, Parser. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in CAD trying to make this thing look clean. Um, I have some mods that I've wanted to do that I've just haven't done because I don't think they look right. Um, so I really want my Rook to be a really solid printer that I can just bring with me to friends, just set it up and print stuff. Because I don't necessarily need printers, but I want printers, as most of us do. Yes, it's a fairly cheap project. You could get an Ender 3 for the same price, but I'm personally not a big fan of the latest versions of the Ender 3, so something like a KP3S though would be a great printer for this price range, but it's nowhere near the speed of this. So if you have a printer and you want something that's just fast for small things, then this is the printer for you. Or if you just want to build your first DIY printer that you can customize. I if it weren't for the other things that I have, then yes, 99% of my prints would be for my printers. A really fun thing about the Rook is that if you build one, there's a lot of upgrades you can do on it, that you can print on it as well. So you could print the Gulsifer's idlers and motor mounts. You can print those on a Rook. You can print the knobs, my spool holder, the feet, this phone holder if you want to. Ender 5 Mercury one is a good project. It's a fun way to fix a broken printer because the Ender 5 is not the best as a default. It has quite a big limitation. So a Mercury conversion is perfect. So right now I'm printing a charging station that I had to design while visiting a friend yesterday. Um, she uh, she wanted a place to put her phone when she was at work, and we couldn't find anything on printables that she liked. Something simple, something small, to fit in a specific spot. So yes, we designed this in Onshape and started the print. About an hour and a half later, this was done. So we'll see if I'm gonna let this finish or not, but I might just finish it early and see if we can do some speed benchies, mostly for the fun. Yes, Joe, I am live. So a speed hot end, it depends on what you mean by speed. If you have a normal printer and just want to print a little bit faster, but your stock hot end uh, kind of holds you back, then there's a couple of really good hot ends that I've been using on most of my printers right now. The CHCs, really good flowing hot ends for not much money, and you don't have to rebuild your entire setup to fit them. They're a straight swap for either Volcano or V6 or Mark 8 hot ends. I actually have one laying right here. Yes, we'll be doing some benchies. The last benchy I did broke my printer, so I'm not going to do that one again. I need to slow it down a little bit more. But yes, I'll see if I can make some speeds prints. Did I cross 100 subscribers? Anything but benchies? Okay, I can do dragons. I like the little Cali dragons if you want. I'm a big fan of those. And they're even quicker. Well, I do have a really good speed benchy that I can show you. It's this little guy right here. Not exactly speed benchy rules compatible, but Octoduct would be fun, Joe. That would be really fun. Okay, so dragon it is. Let's set up a dragon. This will also show you the limitations of the Rook when it comes to cooling. Um, without the big side fan, um, cooling becomes a big issue. No, I'm just gonna do a Kali Dragon because it's the fastest, and I know that this one works. Because the last time I tried a benchy, my pipe stopped working. So not a huge fan of benchies right now, but yeah. Yeah, let's just cancel this print. I just needed something in the background. Let's do a Kali Dragon. Nice looking print? Well, that depends. What do you consider a nice looking print? Just something that looks nice or something that's hard to print? Because I have both, but they do look different. Yes, then it's vase mode on the Rook is fast. This is zero point 0.8 layer thickness, 0.2 layers, and it's flawless. It's perfect. So a nice looking print, that would be something like Vision from Marvel. Let's see if we can focus. Let's see if we can focus some more, shall we? There we go. It's a little bit better. This is 0.1 layer height at about 100 millimeters a second, so fairly slow compared to what I normally do with my Rook. But when you're doing quality prints, that's what you want to do. You also have this little guy, super terror tests. This really terrorizer zero extruder, but it came out fairly well. It took about an hour and 10 minutes. I've done it 3 times now, and they look good every single time. There's a tiny bit of stringing, but considering the speeds, I do not mind that at all. A little bit of stringing can be fixed in a few seconds. So, okay, so let's do a dragon, and then yes, I'll do a Rolo cube. Just because Joe wants a Rolo cube, I'm gonna do a Rolo cube. So. So one of the reasons why I want to do a CHC hot end on this is because it heats up so much quicker. Yes, this benchy is torture. It's a really hard print. I have wanted to do a scaled up version of this little benchy to this size. This is about as big as a benchy you can print on the Rook, just because it looks cool. I do have a lot of benchies, but I don't have a lot of special benchies, so I might do just a big one just to have it. So we're at the speeds where I might need to hold the printer down a little bit, but it's not as bad as it used to be when I did the walking video. Simplicity and Bishop are both good printers. I really like the design of the Simplicity. If you have a really clean looking desk and you want a printer to be on there and not be hideous, then Simplicity is a really good design. Duct Tape really spent a lot of time making sure that it looked good and was able to print fast, which is it still does. So Simplicity, yes. Bishop is still in early stages, but I think the premise of being able to switch to 2020s is a good idea by Golsifer. So I don't know how much you can see of the screen, but it's doing about 250. It should be doing about 250 on the fastest parts and about 200 on the slower parts. Yeah, Tarantula has some of the parts you need. Mostly the motors. The motherboard can be clipperized, so you can use that. Maybe not the silent steppers that you would want, but Oops, wrong text box. Yes, let's do 20. Yeah, motors, extrusion, PSU, and the 3 boards. Yeah, should get you started on a Bishop project at least. Might have gone a little bit too high on the SQV, but hey, it's just fun, right? So right now I'm printing at 270 with PLA, so it's pushing the limits. My poor little 40-watt heater does struggle a little bit to do this, but as you can see, it doesn't really need much bracing or bolting down or anything. It's still fully movable. It does dance a little bit on these speeds, but it's not too bad. So, anything specific people want me to print? I know Joe wants me to do a Rolo cube, so I might do that. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but like predicted, the horns are not looking good, just because of so not the best looking one, but it's by far my fastest one at 5 minutes and 23 seconds. I need more cooling. Let's see if we can focus. Come on, focus. Oh, almost. There we go. That's a little bit more focused. So the horns are not the best, but other than that, it looks pretty good. And as you can see, the cooling is my biggest hurdle at this point. I can do big stuff at fairly high speeds, but small stuff like the horns on this really tests the limits of the cooling. But not the worst of prints. Should I do a roller cube then? It has two-side cooling right now, but it's still limited to the dual 40 4020s. Yes, 4020s. That's on there. So, so my biggest limit right now is cooling for small details, and I might be able to fix that. I have plans. Just waiting for parts, as one does. So let's do a roller cube. But yes, inert. The plan does involving putting the spool in the back. And do dual side big coolers. So if you hit extrusion or flow limits at 150, then you are either your hot end is not high capacity enough, so you might need to go with something that has a higher flow limit, or you could just do the cheap way and increase your temps. That would increase your flows a little bit more. So right now I'm printing at 270 C on the hot end. It really helps with flow. It doesn't mean that the filament gets up to that temperature. It gets up to that temperature faster. So the fan that I have on the side is a 120, but it's not being used at the moment. Let's focus the camera again. There we go. So I have a 120 blower right here on the side, but it's not being used. Reason is because it doesn't work. The fan is dead. But yes, I do have a plan to put one on both sides and the spool and extruder on the back to see if I can really do some high-speed printing. But that might be after I go four-wheel drive and see if that's a realistic thing to do. I wonder if it looks better with the lights on. Not really. Right now I'm on a 40-watt heater from a Ender 3. But yes, all-wheel drive is something that I'm working on. It's a slow project, but I do have a plan to make it work 4-wheel drive. It does involve a complete redesign of the top, but and the top frame, but it's still gonna be a Rook. It's still gonna look like a Rook, but it does need some modifying, yes. My steppers are surprisingly they're some of the cheapest that I could find. I had to buy them locally because shipping is extremely expensive for motors, but I'm using some 40mm NEMA 17s. Nothing fancy, just generic 4401s. So you don't need much. The weight of the top of the printer is so light compared to other printers that you don't really need expensive stepper drivers or stepper motors, um, which is kind of the good thing about the Rook. Hey, Ghostfer. Yes, as you can see, the part cooling fan is not even connected. It's mainly there just because I wanted to see it on there and see how it looked. So apparently I just crossed 100 subscribers. Thank you. I did not even think anyone would subscribe to my stupid little walking video, but thank you very much. Let's see if I know who the 100 subscriber was. Thank you, Rollo. Thank you, Gosfer. Thank you, Inert. Yes, I am working on other videos. Main problem being that I can't get parts for a project that fast. It usually takes me about a month to get parts, so there's quite a long while to wait for stuff. So I have like 3 or 4 different projects that I want to do when it comes to videos, and yeah, it just takes a while. I know about one video that I'm going to do, um, which is the full guide of Rook, going through every single piece of it, how you put it together in one video, which is going to be long, but I think a lot of people wants a full guide on the details and small tips and tricks and on the Rook. Okay, it's viewing time. Let's see how that Rolo cube turned out. Should be better to do that. Yes. There we go. Really good looking Rolo cube. Square corner velocity is maybe too high, but you know, YOLO. And there's no input shaping on this Rook. Nothing at all when it comes to input shaping. So I'm super pleased with the results that I can do without using any input shaping. So yeah, what should we do next? Just, I have some macros that can maybe show off the speeds that the motion system can do. Not exactly the hot end, but the motion system. So I guess I have a dancing printer right now. Yes, I have an end stop switch on my Z-axis. My X and Y is sensorless homing. Because you really don't need the precision on X and Y on such a small printer. So I have a small end stop switch, the black one in the middle there, on Z. And it works perfectly. There's no, I don't have to touch the Z offset or anything that much. I just took this printer to my friend's house and back yesterday, and I haven't done anything to it, so it's a fairly solid build, I would say. I'm using a SKR Mini E3 V2, so both mine and Rolo's configs are on the GitHub for the V2 and V3, just because we have one of each. It's a really nice board for this compact of a project. Has everything you need. You don't need dual Z. So, and as you can see, it does perform very good. It's a really fun project. Um, I'm glad I did this instead of a Voron. I was supposed to build a Voron V0 when I stumbled onto Rollahan's project, and yeah, this is way more fun. I don't have to take it seriously, which is the best thing about it. Being able to just do dumb stuff. Yeah, Mercury is not the cheapest project. Yeah, the Rook is and the Rook community as well is it, it's about having fun with the printer. It's not about taking it too serious. Um, but we have of course there's people that want a serious printer and Vorons are good for that. But the Rook is a fun little thing that would surprise most of people. I would say. I don't think people imagine doing this kinds of prints that we do. We can't give up too much information, goals. We need to finish the stuff before we finish everything. But yes, we have projects in the works. So I'll be ending the stream in about 10 to 15 minutes. Um, yeah, I think the layer cooling that I'm just waiting for a new fan, the ones on the side here. I think that is what's holding me back the most right now. So I want to get that done before I do anything else on this. Um, like I mentioned, I want to do dual sides. I want to get another one on the other side. Um, I know it's probably overkill, but hey, that's that's kind of what I do. I like to push the limits of the stuff that I have and the stuff that I can do. So that's been the most fun about the Rook is pushing the limits. I did not think that I could print 200 plus millimeters an hour or a second, sorry, on a 3D printer. So the printer doesn't really move that much. Um, this is probably as bad as it gets. And the stud mod is a fun little thing. I don't think I need it, but it's an option. I think you're gonna break the printed parts. I fully plan on doing what 247 printing I think did. Just putting some shields on his hot end and only do side cooling. That's also why I have two cables running to my hot end, because the actual hot end is completely separate from the rest of the fans, so I can remove the rookery without doing anything else than and keep printing. So that's yet another one. Other printers. I have Ender 3s and a Sidewinder X1 and then this. So I don't have that many types of printers, but I do have a lot of experience with them. I've been printing for about 12 years now. So I have an Ender 3 that's highly modified. Um, it's currently printing the Rook Evo. So that printer is modified just to do high temp materials, so it prints ABS like it prints PLA. Yes, Gulsifer. As soon as I get comfortably into the sub 10, then yes, I will be doing an official speed benchy. I can do a 9-minute benchy right now, but I still think it can be better, and I want to do. I don't want to submit like a whole bunch of videos. I want to do just one and done it. So I'm spending a little bit more time tuning and upgrading before I go do that. 23 minutes is a good time on an Ender 3. I think my Ender 3 best time is about 16 minutes. I've never actually tried to do super speedy benchies. I do have a world record on a Sidewinder X1, which is 13 minutes on that big lump of heat bed. That you can see that on the YouTube channel as well if you want to. But that is about as fast as a big heavy bed can move any faster, and you start breaking stuff. I know this because I broke stuff. So on my Sidewinder X3 I did a 13-minute benchy, and then I tried a sub 10-minute benchy, and I killed some stepper drivers. So on this Rook I can do a comfortable perfect benchy at about 15 minutes. My best so far is 9 minutes. It's actually this one. Um, let's put it there, shall we? And it's yeah, it started to get cooling issues. I do have some limitations on cooling, so I'm waiting for more parts, more fans. I do have a design where I can put this on the other side and still use it. So it's coming. But I'm not gonna commit to a official speed benchy until I know that I can do it over and over. Tic Tac is a fun project, but if you have the Ender 5, then yes, Mercury would be a better option. I do believe that. So we have a couple of minutes. Should we do another dragon or fastest bed slingers are sub 10-minute benchies? I I think I could do it if I really put my Ender 3 into torture mode and some slight modifications. I do have the hot end for it, so I think I can do it, but I don't want to ruin my most stable printer because that's what it is. I do have a small desire to beat Matt, the 100 projects Benchy. I still think I can do it, but I'm not sure if I should. But it would be nice to be at least close to his 6 something minute Benchy. So when I did my X1 Benchy, that took me about 3 weeks of 4 to 5 Benchies a day of tinkering. Um, it did teach me a lot. It's a really good way to learn about your printer and your limitations and your slicer. Um, I could probably beat that today. Um, but the Sidewinder X1 is currently being built into a big item printer, so it's getting its own enclosure, strictly there for big stuff. So I'm saying that I'm probably just gonna end the stream to right now. Um, it's been about an hour and 15 minutes. So thank you guys for hanging out and giving me your questions and your comments. It's fun working on this project, especially Rolo and Gulsifer, Joe, and Zombie. Um, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the Evo. I have started printing it. It's on its way, so maybe that'll be a stream upcoming. But I'm gonna try to do another Rook stream in a week or two, just to do the same thing. Just show people the Rook and give everyone a chance to ask questions. I know that a lot of people don't want to bother anyone in the Discord, but please do. Please bother me in the Discord. Um, I really like spreading the word about the Rook, the Rook 180. The Yeah, I really like building stuff and teaching people and experimenting. So thank you everyone. Thank you Rolo for actually being here. That's amazing. I'm beyond honored. So thank you, and I'll talk to everyone another day, I guess.